there was a gun placed in the back of your head, would you be able to name one Concord character, or are you dead?
I could describe what they looked like, but I don't know their names.
Itzy is my character. That's the one character. She's the really skinny girl with the Uzi, and she got like the off shoulder top or whatever that. She looked ugly. She was terrible looking.
Yeah, they all were terrible looking.
They all look terrible. She looked terrible too, but I liked playing as her, so that's what she was my main. But the problem was that Concord didn't encourage mains. Concord always the main game mode of Concord was that it forced you to play other characters, which is annoying, right?
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, there were some interesting things about it, but yeah, no, I mean and I was stunned they shut that team down. Like
that's what I'm saying. I feel like they did a huge mistake. It was a bad product. I don't really agree with shutting them down. It fucking figure something out with them. I don't know, but it was
a well-made game. You may not like design aspects, and most of us didn't like the IP, but it's gold to have a team. A lot of these guys had worked on Apex and worked on, I think, some of the Halo guys. To be able to make a more than competent technical service-based shooter.
Sure.
Okay, so they failed once. Dust yourself off, try something else with a different director or with more marketing oversight or something.
Smaller scale too. Don't try to be the Star Wars of video games or whatever that they were kind of trying to do.
Yeah.
Don't have a live motion capture cutscenes as your main draw from week to week as a live service. And that's it,
Yeah. That was clearly they wanted something very different. There was somebody on the team should have put their foot down, or at Sony, and said, I don't care if you want to make Star Wars. If this is a hit, you can make Star Wars later. You can make a movie with PlayStation Productions, but we make games here. That's our bread and butter.
This is why I always push back that it's a well-made game, because yes, technically, and you're correct that technically it was. The controls are smooth, the animations are beautiful. The whoever worked in the animations, obviously the design sucks, but the animations were on point. The reloading animations, everything like that.
Yeah.
But to me, that's like saying that you knew how to write a book well. You had the right syntax and grammar as a writer, as opposed to you actually writing something compelling or interesting or engaging. The game,
I don't think that works. Actually, I think it's more like saying because I blame
and the pages work too. That's the thing.
I blame the author of Concord just like I would blame the author of a bad published novel, but I may not blame the people who bound the book, did the printing.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And if you're Sony, you look at the people who did the technical part. I don't mean just coding, but the putting it all together and the producers or whatever that did well and go, okay, this is a great team. Look, the game that Sony Santa Monica made before God of War was Kinetica. And I was like, this is going to die on the vine. And lo and behold, it did. Because it was badly creatively led. But that doesn't mean the team clearly wasn't capable of doing something great when they hooked up with different creative leadership. So maybe Holst was just so sucker punched by the failure he had to throw somebody out, because if he didn't, they'd throw him out. I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know if that's true, but a lot of this shit seems performative.
Yeah. Also, it was really expensive, but it's like, man, it was just a bad decision to just go with Concord. But I feel for the people who had to suffer through that, and it was just not great to just shut down the whole thing just because they made one massive mistake, but it was a mistake. All the same. That's like, see, and I know I glaze Nintendo all the time, but that's where Nintendo comes in, where it's like, I'm forgetting his name, but he was the director of Metroid. We're bringing back Metroid again, right? But it's like he directed some of the early 2000 Metroids that sold poorly, terribly. They were critically poorly received, and they didn't sell well at all. And what did they reward him? 2 years ago, they gave him his dream project,
which was what?
To update the Famicom Detective Club visual novel series.
Okay.
A dead IP, and he always wanted to revive it, and he did. And so he's not being punished. He's not being shut down. They're like, okay, well, why don't you do something that you actually want to do now instead?
Yeah, and to be fair, they also are, they're just smarter when it comes to the business that they're in, when it comes to the products. I mean, they make games first. I love the story of how Splatoon started.
Yeah.
Like the Splatoon conceptual IP is moronic. It's these girls that turn into, it's dumb. What a stupid IP, right? But fundamentally, it doesn't matter, because what they started with was who can paint the environment more. And hey, we need to have something that lets you travel fast. Let's let you sink into it and go, oh, and then the IP came. And
yes,
you know,
they started with the gameplay concept as opposed to like, oh, well, we're going to have all these diverse characters and stuff like that. It's like, this is a video game. You need, if you're going to be a playable video game, you need to have that concept first. Again, goes back to why I think Concord is not a well-made product, because that rivalry mode that was the main marquee attraction for Concord, that's the only unique mode in Concord, and that was the one that forced you to switch out characters all the time, and right. you having to coordinate with teams, and that's just a bad mode.
I would say it's better to say the game wasn't well designed, but it was well made.
Well made, but not well designed. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that it's not a good game, because it would.
And that's why you need these fucking producers. Sony used to have these amazing creative producers that would have said, because to me I would call that like design porn, right? Where it's like designers get a bee in their bonnet for they wanted, you know, I did it with Twisted Metal 2012. I had this really great mode called Nuke Mode, and it was a really good mode, but no one sat me down to go, as interesting as this is, the percentage of people that are going to learn to play this and play this well, it's not worth all the effort you're putting in. Better to have more levels, more cars, and make sure the goddamn thing works when you launch it. But by that point, there was just nobody that could tell me no, because I had made God of War and Alan had left, and nobody knew that lesson. They didn't know to tell me, you know, because I didn't know it. And it wasn't like I had producers in my ear going, dude, this mode's too complicated. But there would have been a time where Becker probably would have sat us down and said, look, man, I'm just, you know, so, I mean, it's a real, you got to put the gameplay first. You just fucking have to. And otherwise you get fucked. You get totally fucked. Yeah. It's tough. I'm glad I'm out of that. Go ahead.
No, there's a story about how Nintendo, you know, when they make a new Mario game, they spend a year just working on how Mario moves first.
Before Astrobot did that, by the way, right? My understanding is, I had issues with Astrobot, but I love the fact that every level they built was built around a mechanic first. It's like, oh, this is fun to do with the controller and with Astrobot. Let's make a level on that. Perfect. Fucking perfect.